Are COVID norms not meant for our Netas? That's the first question I want to raise. Will the Netas now understand the Prime Minister's message as they go into the Bihar election? Gaurav Ballabh is the Congress spokesperson and Guru Prakash is the BJP spokesperson. Appreciate both of you joining us here. Will the Netas walk the talk? Gaurav Ballabh, why don't you take that, since today we saw these large crowds at Tejasvi Yadav's rally, no social distancing, no masks being with number of people. Do they not apply to our Netas and the party workers when you talk of COVID protocol norms?
Rajdeep, first of all, I would like to say that Honorable Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, he himself is contradicting what Prime Minister had said when he had addressed to the nation. Sushil Modi ji is saying, Corona to gaya. There is no corona. That is what he had mentioned in Bihar today. First thing. Second thing, Rajdeep, we were saying this is not the right time under the pandemic. This is not the right time for the election. But Prime Minister and the Election Commission, they said everything is arranged. We have to, we already fought the battle. We won the battle. Mr. Dilip Ghosh, the president of the BJP West Bengal, time and again he said, there is no corona in the country. Corona is gone. So what exactly government is trying to depict? I would only like to say, Rajdeep, only one line. That first address to the nation by Prime Minister was on 19th March. And today was the 7th address to the nation. In last 7 months, what is that change? Only 3 items. Time and again he highlighted, 2 गज की दूरी, मास्क पहनो, 20 सेकंड तक साबुन से हाथ धो. अरे 19 तारीख का मैसेज ही बता देते, वो ही चला देते.
But what is that, Gaurav Ballabh? Gaurav Ballabh, are you telling the Prime Minister should not remind the nation of the need to not lower our guard ahead of the festive season? He has every right to do so.
He is having every right to do so, Rajdeep. I am not saying. But having that address to the nation, he can only safely say that my 19th March video can be played again to the nation, that haath dho, mask pehno, Sushil Modi should be fired immediately because he is contradicting what Prime Minister is saying. Dilip Ghosh should be removed from the party because what he is saying and what Prime Minister is saying is contradicting. And last but not the least, Rajdeep, I am not saying this with a feeling of joy. Prime Minister shared a wrong data also. Fatality rate he had mentioned in his address to the nation. As far as fatality rate is concerned, if you compare our fatality rate with Bangladesh, China, Vietnam, Nepal, Pakistan, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Malaysia, Thailand, our is the highest. And not only highest, our fatality rate per million is 83, whereas Thailand is having only 0.8, Malaysia is having 6, Afghanistan is having 38. So if I compare the Indo-Pacific countries, our fatality rate is highest. Second thing, when he compared our corona cases with US and Brazil, why he is not comparing that how many tests they had done? US number of tests per million is 7 times of our tests per million. Why he is not quoting that? Why he is not saying in public that what President Trump openly said, that he doesn't believe on the Indian COVID data. He doesn't believe on the data by Modi government on the COVID. Why Prime Minister can say that Trump is a liar? I can say publicly that I believe my government data, but Trump is saying that he doesn't believe the data of his bestie. And bestie is also not contradicting the Trump's claim. Why he is not saying that thing? And last sentence, then I will take the next question later on. And the last sentence, that when you compare US and Brazil data, you have to compare their fiscal stimulus also. As per IMF, our fiscal stimulus is 2% of GDP, whereas Brazil is 12% and American fiscal stimulus is 11% of GDP. Don't make misleading statements when you address to the nation. It doesn't look nice.
Okay, you made your point. You believe that the Prime Minister is misleading or is not telling the full truth when it comes to the fight against coronavirus. But I want to first focus on those images once again, Guru Prakash ji, because you're seeing what is happening in Bihar on the ground. In every rally, we are finding more and more people without masks, not observing social distancing. The Prime Minister says, you know, this is not a time to let your guard down. And yet he is going to address 12 rallies in the next few days in Bihar. We don't know whether social distancing will be maintained. The worry is that it appears that an election also is being held at the wrong time, because an election by its very nature will attract these kind of crowds. and these crowds could turn out to be super spreaders. So is there a consciousness that maybe also people in power also need to be conscious? The election could have been maybe deferred, some believe by 3 to 6 months.
Rajdeep ji, a lot of points have been raised by my friend from the Congress party, and he has, like, they believe in always selectively doing things, be it expressing outrage over atrocities, be it selectively quoting data, and the sort of relative analogy which he was drawing with countries like Thailand and Bangladesh is nothing but laughable. And I expect my friend from the Congress party to have the elementary understanding of the population of both the countries, population of countries, at least in the South Asia region. So you would realize that when our Prime Minister speaks to the nation, when our Prime Minister addresses to the nation, and when he says that the casualty rate is 83 per 10 lakh, it makes a lot of sense. Today's address was a lesson in leadership. Now, your second question, Rajdeep, for observing COVID protocol.
No, look at the election. Look at the visuals we are showing you.
Requirements in, I'm watching that. I'm watching that, Rajdeep. And as far as the question of following COVID protocol during the election rallies are concerned, I agree. In fact, there are concerns, but at the same time, our leadership is very conscious. Our workers and our party leaders have been very careful and cautious in addressing these rallies, and we have ensured that there are facilities for sanitation, there is social distancing followed as far as possible. But the district administration also, the Election Commission of India has given the district administration all the power to even take punitive action against those who are seen not following the COVID requirements. So as far as the question of elections are concerned, my friend Mr. Vallabh was also raising question on the integrity of the Election Commission of India, as if how can they hold election. My friend, I would like to tell you that elections are a very important festival of democracy, and elections essentially give legitimacy to the constitution.
Sir, but a festival of democracy needs to follow public health protocols. The Prime Minister is telling the country, don't let your guard down. The Prime Minister is telling people this is no time for you to let your guard down even for 1 minute. But look at what is happening on the ground in Bihar. All I am saying is that Netas need to walk the talk. The fact is, your own Neta, Dilip Ghosh, says COVID is over. I mean, if your own Netas are going to talk this language, that means the Prime Minister's message is not even reaching his own leaders.
No, that's completely not the case, and I can see the select visuals that is playing on the television, but at the same time, there are meetings happening where COVID protocol is strictly being followed, and I can share that videos, I can share that images as well. But as far as the question of these videos are concerned, we will definitely ensure, we have taken a note of it, and we will ensure we will communicate this to our party workers at the ground level to see that each and every requirement of COVID protocol is followed. People follow social distancing, people follow the temperature requirements and the sanitation requirement as well. But I'm not going to fret away, and I'm not going to politicize this entire issue like my friend Gaurav Vallabh did at the very outset by making his opening remark. He tried to politicize. He tried to say that the leadership is not taking action. I would like to tell him that his leader, Rahul Gandhi ji, did not take any action against Kamal Nath for making such a derogatory remark. So let's not go into that. Let's not play that game.
Sir, I am focusing on COVID protocols. I am focusing on COVID protocols. The Prime Minister has given an important message today. My worry is the message is not reaching Patna. And this is only the start of the election campaign. Just imagine what could happen in the next couple of weeks in Bihar.
Rajdeep ji, I am live from Patna. And the good thing is that the Indian Council of Medical Research has shown that the recovery rate in Patna is more than 95%. The government is on their toes, the administration on their toes. But regardless of that, we are prepared, and we are going to communicate this to the ground level party workers that we should follow, we must follow, and the district administration also has the authority to take punitive action against those who are seen to be violating the COVID protocol.
Okay, you've made your point. Gaurav Vallabh, you want to get one final response to this. The fear, of course, is that, the belief is that at the end of the day, this fight against COVID cannot become BJP versus Congress, Gaurav Vallabh. This fight against COVID has to be a united front that the country has to present. Today it's in Bihar, tomorrow it could be another state. We had visuals only a few days ago of overcrowded trains in Mumbai where the Congress is a partner in government. It requires at the end of the day public to get sensitized to the problem. Do you concede that? And you can't blame the Prime Minister for what is happening on the ground in Bihar.
Rajdeep ji, the gentleman on the show is contradicting his own statements and his party's statement. When Parliament can't run because of COVID, the democracy is not in danger. He's telling election is required because it is a democratic right. When Parliament can't be convened because of COVID, then there is no democracy issue. When the committee of the Parliament can't be convened because of COVID, there is no democracy issue. But convening election is a democratic issue, number one. Number two, he's telling we can't compare Bangladesh and US. Gentlemen, please read something. When I am saying something, it is per million cases. So when we take per million, the population difference is nullified. So please try to understand. I know you doesn't have that type of understanding. And the third issue, he is very correct. कि our rallies we will be having social distancing. अरे जाता कौन है राजदीप जी इनकी रैली में? कौन सुनने जा रहा है? वहाँ तो डिस्टेंसिंग नहीं खाली मैदान पड़े.
ये आप let's be clear. Rallies in India, particularly in Bihar, are being attended in large numbers of both parties. It's not only Congress, RJD rallies that get large numbers.
Nobody is going in their rallies. You can see the pictures. Nobody is going.
So the Prime Minister, I am sure, will attract huge crowds in Bihar. There is no
one there to listen.
The Prime Minister is going there from 23rd. He will attract huge crowds. But Mr. Guru Prasad, I want to give you a final word. You are on the ground in Patna. I hope that you will take this message to the district administration and more importantly to your workers that we are in COVID times. I know you want to win an election at all costs, as all parties do, but health must come above all else.
Undoubtedly, Rajdeep ji, and the intent and the action of the government in the last 6 months has also indicated the same thing. But as far as the observation of my friend from the Congress party is concerned, I patiently heard the questions raised by him. So the question of people attending rallies, you must know that the vote share of the Congress party has gone down since 2005, whether they contest on 243 seats, whether they contest on 40 seats, they are leaderless, visionless, actionless when it comes to Bihar. So the Congress party do not have any local standard to speak on any issue when it comes to Bihar. But as far as the question of following of COVID protocol is concerned, I have taken a note, Rajdeep ji, and we are going to ensure that each and every Karyakarta is strictly following the COVID protocol and the COVID requirement on the ground as well. Thank you so much for bringing this to our information.
Okay, good. Well, we'll wait and see whether that actually happens. Our fear, of course, is as the campaign heats up and intensifies, the fear is COVID protocols will be given the short shrift. Thank you both, Gaurav Ballabh and Guru Prasad, for joining me, setting the stage, because the festival of democracy has to be followed by, well, religious festivals. Remember, as India steps into the festive season, Durga Puja pandals to take off from tomorrow, concerns over impending spikes in coronavirus infections.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.